Florida, what they did tonight was not shocking because you had to imagine the distraction of everything that's going on with Kevin Willard was eventually going to catch up to Maryland. The emotional letdown factor of that crazy buzzer beater against Colorado State. I mean, not to mention, like, the reality is Maryland had one of the better first and second round draws, right? Like, they got past 2 double-digit seeds. So of these teams in the Sweet 16, they were tested kind of the least, right? And so they just ran up against a better team tonight, a team that was more focused and a team that Maryland had a lot of distractions. I'll say that. And I can't imagine that didn't have an impact on the way they performed here.
So let's talk about those distractions. Obviously, what you're referencing is the reports that Kevin Willard is at least a possibility to be the next head coach at Villanova. He had spoken publicly about his job status in recent days and weeks, complained about financial commitment for his program at Maryland, discussed the uncertainty around the athletic department with his athletic director recently leaving for another job. He's made note multiple times that he doesn't love the idea of not knowing who his next boss is going to be, but being very sure that it's not going to be the person who brought him there. And he was obviously asked about all of this after tonight's loss, even specifically about, I don't know if you saw the video, but it's a pretty normal thing to see at an NCAA tournament game. A bunch of fans at the hotel sort of sending the team off. And there were, I read a description. It was like Maryland fans boo Kevin Willard as he's walking out of the hotel. It might have just been one person. There was definitely a boo, but I don't know that it was a chorus of boos or a lot of people. Either way, it's something that happened and something he heard. And he was asked about all of it tonight. And I do imagine you have heard what he said, how he said it. What'd you make of the way Kevin Willard handled things post-game?
Oh, I just go back to the way he's handled it for the last couple of weeks, which is kind of odd. It's just unusual to see a sitting head coach be so vocally outspoken against his administration. Now, I get a part of that is an AD who's no longer there, who left to go to SMU. But now we're to a point where the football coach, Mike Loxley, is kind of like clapping back and talking about, well, we don't typically, every family has its dirty laundry, right? And we don't typically air it out in the public. And so it's like, at this point, how do you go back? How do you go back to Maryland after all this? That's kind of where I'm at on it, is like, Villanova has not hired anybody else. The reason they've clearly not hired anybody else is because they think they might have a chance to get Kevin Willard. So at this point, I don't see how this marriage can continue. It just feels too acrimonious to proceed at this point. And you're kind of coasting off the good vibes of still being alive in the NCAA tournament. Well, those good vibes are gone now. And I don't understand, based on the things that he said, how he can now turn around and make his peace with that administration.
And listen, he might have known where this was headed for a while, although he explicitly tonight said he did not and still does not. But as I said on Inside College Basketball, he certainly sounded like a man who knows what he's going to do next. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that he just started talking, well, I'll just quote his football coach, airing dirty laundry, like after the Villanova job opens. Like this dirty laundry that he was referencing was back around Christmas. It was something that happened around Christmas. Well, he didn't talk about it around Christmas, around January. Why bring it up now? This is what I mean. There is exactly 2 times in my life, maybe more, but I remember 2 vividly, where I got very comfortable with my employer and was like, I think I need this and this, or, let my agent handle it or whatever. But like, got very like, oh, right, it's time to start asking for stuff. And it's time to start saying, hey, I think I need this and I should get this. And why don't I have this and whatever? It's time to speak up a little bit. And do you know what both of those times had in common?
What?
I had offers from other places, and I knew if you don't do what I think I want right now, it doesn't mean I'm going to leave, but I know I can. So let's see what happens. And that's the way Kevin Willard sounded to me like somebody who knows he can leave if he wants to. So now it's time to start talking and start, letting out everything he's wanted to let out and has instead kept inside. And the interesting place for him now, or thing for him now, is that if he would have just stayed quiet, like just said, hey, out of respect for everybody involved, like this is my advice to coaches. It's not what I would like as a reporter, because I love this stuff. I love talking about it, thinking about it, all of it. Here would be if I was hired as a consultant and coaches were like, GP, what should we do when this type of stuff happens? Don't talk about it. You can't tell the truth because your fans will get upset. And if you lie, that's not good either. You know what the best thing you do? Your name gets connected to a job publicly. The next time you're in front of cameras, somebody asks you about it. You know what you say? Guys, I have been, like if you're a coach next season, here's what you do. Guys, I've been watching these things unfold for forever. And just know that sometimes I'll read reports and they have people's names connected to jobs and it's real. Other times it's just not. It's just not. All right. And I watch coaches struggle with this and try to figure out what to say and what not to say. And to this day, I've never seen somebody figure it out. To this day, I've never seen somebody get it right. Kevin Willard, tried to talk about it publicly last year, and y'all saw what happened there. So out of respect for everything, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not ever going to talk about my future at this job, my future anywhere else. It's just a non-starter for me. And it's not because I don't have real thoughts on everything. It's because I've seen so many people before me just get themselves in bad situations by trying to talk about this stuff. They either end up telling the truth and it's not accepted, or they lie and I don't want to lie to you. So just, you can ask me about this or literally anything else you ever see my name attached to, and we're just not going to talk about it. I'm not obligated to talk about it, and I don't think it serves any purpose. That's the way to do it, I think, because you ready for this? Had Kevin Willard never talked about anything, he's coming off of a Sweet 16. His fans probably aren't pleased with tonight, but they are, broadly speaking, pleased with the direction of the program. And now he can weigh two things, actually leverage them against each other and come out of it wherever he wants to be. Now there is a sentiment among some Maryland fans, because of the way this has been handled, that they don't even want him back. Now, the Baltimore Sun, I should say, is reporting tonight after the game that Maryland administrators have told at least one prominent booster that they believe Kevin Willard is going to leave to be the next head coach of Villanova, but that they are making a last-ditch effort to try to bring him back, to try to keep him from leaving. And when I tweeted that, I haven't looked at it in a while, but among the first responses was, we don't even want him back. Let him go. He screwed this up. He quit on our team. He didn't stay focused on our team. Whether any of that stuff is true, I'm just telling you that's what part of the Maryland fan base believes now. And that's why turning around and going back is still possible, I guess, but it will not be as clean as it otherwise could have been.
Yeah, well, he ain't gonna have Derek Queen if he comes back, and that's tough, right? If I'm ever a coach, GP, I will. You seem like a man who needs another job. You seem like somebody who could use something else added to your plate. So I'll hit you up and hire you to consult for me. But not to your point. I mean, there are ways to publicly pressure your administration through back channels. If you want a message out there in the public about the support you're getting on the NIL front or whatever it may be, there are ways to get that messaging out without you having to be the face of it.
Oh, God, you know how you do it? Honestly, you're Kevin Willard. Okay, you call David Cobb. Better yet, you're Kevin Willard's assistant. You reach out to Kyle Boone, whoever, Matt Norlander, and you just say, hey, listen, I want to be clear. You don't have to reach out to somebody from CBS. You reach out to whatever media member you're most comfortable with. Who's the media member Kevin Willard is so comfortable with, he could tell him anything and trust that nothing gets out unless he wants it to get out. Who's that person? All right. You talk to that person and you say, listen, it looks like I might be the Villanova guy, and I'm probably gonna have to do it, but it ain't just because I want to be the Villanova coach instead of the Maryland coach, but you have to understand what they're doing to me here. I tried to stay one extra night in New York with my basketball team. We are a Big Ten program. And they said no, because of money. You think if Tom Izzo said he needed to stay an extra night in New York City, Michigan State would say no? You think whoever Indiana's coach is, if they wanted to stay an extra night in New York City, they'd say no? Absolutely not. I am not being given the same resources that these other Big Ten schools are. I need you to get that out there for me. Can you do that from a source? Here's the tweet. Hey, John Rothstein, here's the tweet. Sources have told CBS Sports that the only reason Kevin Willard would even consider a move to Villanova, that's actually not the tweet because you don't want to make Villanova upset, but Kevin Willard has concerns about the funding connected to the Maryland men's basketball program, and feel like all the stuff Kevin actually said, just have somebody else say it.
Yep.
And then we can all talk about it the same way, but it ain't coming straight from you, even if deep down we know it came straight from you. Just those words coming out of his mouth created problems for him, and he could have got the same message done by just giving it to somebody else and saying, that's the truth, tweet it from a source.